So, subscapularis can be a tricky muscle to find. Sometimes I think it's even trickier than the iliopsoas. So I've developed a framework or paradigm that might be helpful to you. I've taught my Releasing the Rotator Cuff workshop to hundreds and hundreds of therapists. And I discovered that about 80% of them thought they were working subscap, but when I checked them, they were actually on the lat, latissimus dorsi teres major combo, which is this muscle that I'm holding right here. And I wondered why that was happening. And I realized that they were going in, trying to access subscap from too far inferiorly, or too far south, so to speak. So I developed this framework for teaching palpation skills here. So I live in beautiful Austin, Texas. North of me is Dallas. South of me is San Antonio. So substitute where you live for my Austin and pick a city north of you and a city south of you. The best way, the best location to go into subscap is in your home city. For me, Austin, Texas. I'm going to come in here in Austin. If I come in too far south, this is what most of the therapists I teach are doing. They hit the ribs, and then they feel this big fat tissue over here, and they go, oh, I'm on subscap. So it's a very understandable mistake. Now, if I go in Dallas or the city north of you, it's okay, but what you're going to hit is a lot of the tendon at first, which that tendon tends to be very tender. So I suggest going in your city. That way you can slide north and south as you need to, because you want to get as much of this muscle as possible. You always want to be medial to the lateral border of the scapula. So I'm going to show this to you on this model. To be on subscap, your mantra is to be on subscap. You want to be medial to the lateral border of the scapula. If you're lateral to that lateral border, if you're outside it, you will be on the lat teres combination. So I'm going to show this technique, this way of addressing and palpating subscapularis on our model, our beautiful model, Courtney, right now. All right, so let's see this on the actual muscle. So here is Austin. Now I know you're going to say, oh, but it's down there. No, that's the lat. And if that's San Antonio or the city south of you, if I try and go in here, the ribs are going to stop me and I'm going to go, oh, that's subscap. So again, it's an understandable mistake. So let's go up a little higher, a little more superior, or a little more north. Angle your fingers medial and superior. Go under pec major. I call it the pec major tunnel. Do not apply any posterior pressure until you get your medial placement. Then, and only then, do you gently press posteriorly. The best way to start your work is then place the muscle in a slackened state. And I know you can't see my hand, but I haven't moved at all. And start with some gentle rocking. Subscap is like the psoas of the shoulder. It feels real vulnerable. It's near the heart center. So the more you can evoke a parasympathetic response, and by shortening it, we're using the principles of positional release to place the muscle in its most receptive. And you want to rock for about 30 seconds until you feel some melting. So I'm going to open up her arm again so you can again see me. You can see how it looks like I'm in her armpit, but I'm not. There's the armpit. I'm up. And then I press down and I hold that medial placement. So I hope that this paradigm, this framework, helps with your palpation of subscap so that you can really get the outcomes and the results that you want. So I hope that helps you in your palpation skills.